So yeah, hello everyone. My name is Barry Heidowitz. I'm a director here at Extreme Labs, and today we're doing a presentation about Lean Six Sigma, and I'll be sharing my contact info and info about where this content can be found on the Extreme Labs marketplace will be posted in the chat, and then also we'll post a recording of this call, and then with that, I'll hand it off to Limei. So.
Okay, thank you, Barry, for the introduction. Well, good morning to you all. My name is Limei, and I'm working from the Lean Six Sigma Academy, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we're going to spend some time to first talk about our company, to talk about Lean Six Sigma Academy. Who are we? How can we help you, the training organizations? And in addition to that, we're also giving a very short introduction about Lean and the Lean Six Sigma as the methodology for continuous improvement. Well, we are located in the Netherlands in Europe. So we are the scheme owner of Lean Six Sigma. It means that we design the training and certification standard for Lean and Six Sigma. And we do not do any training ourselves. Instead, we work with the training organizations. So basically, the idea of our existence is to help our training partners with the certification content and training content. Well, I think you must be familiar with this, at least this terminology. Like we see here, we have different belts. In the total scheme of Lean and the Lean Six Sigma, we have a Lean part and a Six Sigma part. Like Lean part, you have to see yellow belt, orange belt, green belt, and a black belt. So here, for instance, a Lean Six Sigma green belt is a training according to our skill set. It takes like 8 days. But however, you can also first do a Lean green belt training, which takes 5 days, and upgrade to Six Sigma green belt, which takes another 5 days. So here is an overview of the offering that we have within this Lean Six Sigma scheme. So we have this training content for each belt here, certification content. As you can see here, we have a theoretical exam for green belt, black belt, and every belt, and a practical assessment for green belts and black belts. Well, what is special with the Lean Six Sigma Academy is this our continuous improvement maturity model, which is shown on the screen here. So here we can see that first we have different levels. If you look at the process of an organization, we have different kind of levels, for instance, like structured, managed, predictable. So basically, this is the Lean part. Because as you know that Lean is about a foundation, you create a solid foundation. Here you will use like techniques such as standardized work, 5S, those kind of techniques, so that you create a solid foundation. And you go one level higher, that is managed level. Here we're talking about creating a continuous improvement culture. Here we'll talk about Kaizen, like Kaizen and problem solving and visual workplace. And if you go one level higher, which is the third level of the same continuous improvement maturity level, we see, okay, creating stable, efficient processes. Here, we'll be talking about Lean management, like flow and pull. Just like building a house, you would be having your foundation right. So like Lean is more like to make sure that it is efficiency in the process, to make sure that the waste is animated. So that is how we apply Lean. And after that, as an organization, you can use a Six Sigma, and even above that, design for Six Sigma. So here is a photo about all the job roles that we have within the Lean Six Sigma scheme. As I explained just now, we have Lean and Six Sigma. It is also possible to upgrade from Lean to Six Sigma. The special thing about continuous improvement maturity model is we're not only looking at the process side, but we're also looking at the people side, because sometimes many organizations, they have those tools and the techniques available. However, their maturity level is not very high as they have expected. That's normally maybe lies in the people part of the story. Like for instance, the commitment, support from top management, and also the organizational behavior from the people who are going through a change management, for instance. So very shortly speaking is that when looking at the continuous improvement maturity model, we're looking at the process side, basically the how, which includes all the kind of techniques which are listed here, such as standard meeting, 5S, brainstorm, those kind of techniques. But however, we should not ignore the importance of the people part. Yeah. Well, I think the idea of Lean Six Sigma is to inspire people and improve the process so that organizations can achieve operational excellence. There are kind of building blocks, like training. We're talking about training. Like people say, okay, let's just follow a training. A training is just a very small part of the whole picture. You talk about like if you can start with a continuous improvement maturity assessment. So basically from here, you will be seeing, okay, what is the current level of the maturity and where do you want to go? And maybe from their assessment, you can make a plan. You talk to your management team, you decide your true north, then you make a plan so that you design a policy, a strategy for your organization in terms of continuous improvement. Then you have this policy developed, strategy developed. The second is you have the deployment. You have to deploy those policies. You have to involve teams, for instance. You have to, well, you don't have to, but normally people do like breakthrough improvement projects, and they use those same building blocks, which are like the techniques I have just explained like a few minutes ago. And then competence is like the skills and the skills of the people, like of the management or even people at the work floor. So basically, we're talking about here. You could give you a training, you can do some coaching, so that if you look at this whole picture, it is not only about the process, it's about people as well. It's not only about the training. Training is just like to make sure that your organization, they speak the same language. They're speaking the same language of Lean, same language of Lean Six Sigma. It's just like the basic, so that they can understand the strategy regarding continuous improvement, and they can also speak the same language while they are making those improvement projects. All those building blocks are very important while achieving the operational excellence. Well, as I have mentioned in the very beginning, LSSA, the idea of LSSA is to support the training organizations. So we have designed the skill set for each job role, like yellow belt, orange belt, green belt, and black belt for Lean and Six Sigma. So to start with, we have this body of knowledge, which we also sometimes call skill set. So body of knowledge is the leading document, which says, okay, for a yellow belt or a green belt, what kind of things you should be able to do, like what kind of your capabilities. So here is an example of the yellow belt, orange belt, green belt, and black belt skill set, body of knowledge, which can be downloaded from our website for free. Here's an example of the green belt. Here we have like level 3, which is creating stable and efficient processes. So this comes back to the SIM level. So if you do remember, we talk about the SIM level 1, 2, 3. The third level is about keep stable and efficient processes. Like here, if you talk about the DMIC, the define phase of the DMIC management, we're using a Bloom level here, like apply, analyze. There are a few levels regarding Bloom, and like for instance, process flow diagram. This topic may be discussed also in yellow belt and orange belt and black belt. It's just the different kind of Bloom level. Like for a green belt, you're able to apply these techniques, but maybe for a yellow belt, you just have to remember or understand. So again, body of knowledge is the starting point of everything that we're developing. So from here, this is also a training guide, certification guide for the training organizations, which can be downloaded for free from our website. Again, in addition, we have this body of knowledge, which is the starting point for us creating the training content. So when we're talking about training content, what do we have? We have those reference books. We have reference books, exercise books, all kinds of posters. We also have e-learning content, digital content, and all kind of also training content. Because sometimes a smaller training organization, they want to add Lean or Six Sigma into their product portfolio. They'd like to offer the training. However, they do not have the time or resource to develop the training content. Then in this case, I will be able to help you because I have everything that you need. I have a package from the very beginning, the body of knowledge, and I have the exercise book, reference book, and I have a training handout. I have all kind of posters and games and the data sets so that we can help you to make sure that you're able to deliver your training. So in addition to this training content, we also have certification content. So basically, we're able to offer exams for all the job roles we have just discussed. So for each job role, we have a theoretical exam, and for grant and black belt, we also have a practical assessment. So if I may able to sum up the unique selling points, why is special about Lean Six Sigma Academy? Why should you partner up with us? Is first of all, we have the structured approach of the CIMM framework, continuous improvement maturity model. In this model, in this framework, we're combining different kind of improvement methods. So we're talking about process side. Like here, we're talking about Kaizen, Lean, Six Sigma, those kind of techniques. And in addition to that, we also have this people side of the story. We're looking at the organizational behavior. We look at like their attitude in change management. We're checking, for instance, the support commitment from top management. So it's a combination between process and people. And for the grant and black belt, we are also offering two-step certification process, theoretical exam and practical exam. Following a training at a accredited training organization, the idea is for you to prepare you to do the improvement projects, especially for grant and black belt. The training level, following the training level at the end, it is a means for people to understand the language, to build the culture so that they can apply the knowledge they have learned into those improvement projects. And final thing I want to add here is that from our academy, we can offer you a full package of everything that you need in order to deliver the training, starting from body of knowledge skill set to training content such as reference book, exercises, sample exams, those kind of things, data sets. So basically, we can give you like a one-stop shop solution. So that is for now about our short company presentation about Lean Six Sigma Academy. I'm not sure, do you have any questions so far before I move on to the next topic?
Feel free to chat, type the questions in the chat or the QA section, and I'll present them. And
yeah,
if you come up with questions later, I also put my contact info. You can email me and I can follow up. So
okay, good. So yeah. Shall I, in this case, move forward to the next topic?
Yeah, let's go on to the next topic.
Good.
Thank you. Okay.
Going to share my screen now. So, well, my first presentation is about us. It's about the Lean Six Sigma Academy, like who we are and how can we help you. As I said in the beginning, I would like to spend some time to talk about continuous improvement. I'm sure some of you here must be very familiar with Lean Six Sigma, with operational excellence. So this is just a very introduction level. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to exchange some emails afterwards. Well, when we are talking about Lean Six Sigma, when we're talking about continuous improvement, I think the first term that jumps into our head is operational excellence. What does that mean? What does operational excellence mean, actually? Well, it is connected with productivity. When we're talking about productivity, we're talking about how efficient you are, for instance. Of course, productivity is also a very wide concept. It has different aspects. And operational excellence, it means delivering to customer expectation without failures and has to be on time and in a cost-efficient manner. So we are talking about quality, improved quality through operational excellence, shorter lead times, reduced cost, increased profit. So this is a very, very brief introduction about operational excellence, which is a very wide concept. So when we are talking about these situations, like for instance, customer complaints, sometimes you would be receiving, an organization will be receiving complaints like, our product is wrong, it doesn't meet the specification from the customer. For instance, you have ordered a telephone, the color of the telephone shall be, I don't know, red, but you receive a green one, or you order the iPhone, but you get a Samsung, those kind of things, you know, or you got like rejects, scraps, like things which are not really entirely correct, or you have to wait for a long time, long delivery times, or like when you're looking at your operations, you maybe have a warehouse, then you have like a lot of high inventory, and inventory is also waste in this way. And high employee turnover, like people coming, going, there's no stable, steady situation with the organization. So when these kind of situations happen, they should think about how to improve the operations. Well, we have those two terms. The first one I mentioned frequently is called continuous improvement. Second is operational excellence. So continuous improvement can enhance the quality so that defect reduction, so you don't make mistakes, you have better consistency, and in the end, you will be reaching better customer satisfaction. Because in all those things what we're doing, the voice of the customer is very important. That's the first thing we should think about when we deliver a product, which can be a physical product or a service. And continuous improvement helps to increase revenue and profit margin. I think this is pretty easy to understand. For instance, if you're making a product and you're applying continuous improvement, the quality is good, so you don't have to rework, you know, you don't have to, it's more efficient, it saves your cost. If it saves your cost, it gives you more margin, and also long-term growth, employment, engagement, satisfaction. This can be seen in the SIM assessment, continuous improvement maturity model. Here we're also talking about satisfaction, engagement from the employees, those kind of things. Well, if you have operational excellence, you can achieve operational excellence through continuous improvement and operations management. So if you have that, you have a short time to market, you have improved efficiency and productivity. Here we're talking productivity, you see? Productivity, yeah. Efficiency. Normally, Lean is about efficiency. Lean is about waste elimination and to achieve the efficiency without any waste in your process and lower operating cost. I think this is also easy to understand. Like if you do not have any waste in your process, then operating cost will be low, of course. Yeah, like lower stock levels. Well, I think this photo is familiar because we had just went to it. You know, we had just went through it. There are different aspects, like as I explained, strategy. Strategy here, you're making a policy development, a strategy, you're designing the true north of the organization in terms of continuous improvement. Then here, a strategy, identify business opportunities, and you identify current maturity level, which this can be done through the SIM assessment. Through this assessment, you're able to identify of an organization where you are now and where you want to be. And based on that, you can also make a plan. You make a strategy, make a plan. Acquisition, so deployment, acquisition. And like project charters, you're making project charters for breakthrough projects, for improvement projects. You're really solving problems using the Lean Six Sigma techniques, that is acquisition. And competences, like the skills. We mentioned productivity. I read in a lot of papers or research. The productivity is much influenced by the competences of operation management. So, in order to achieve or upskill their skills and the competences, you can follow a training. You can do some coaching. Yeah. So again, if we're talking about continuous improvement, you should think about the 3 building blocks: strategy, true north, make a plan, acquisition, really applying the knowledge into practice, like really do an improvement project, really solve a problem using Lean Six Sigma. And also these all techniques. Here you can use different kind of techniques to help you to achieve certain kind of goals. But please do not forget the competence of the people. So here, investment in people, asking them follow a training, do some coaching. Well, there's another vision of this country of the same roadmap, CIMM, continuous improvement maturity level. So different kind of levels here, as we explained in the previous slide. Here's like the creating a solid foundation. Here we'll be thinking about 5S, standardized work. Here it's about, okay, for any organization, I think creating a standardized way of working, that is the first step. So by having that, by introducing some standard way of working and some standards, then you're maintaining a solid foundation. So that is the first step for everything, for every organization, if you're looking at the process maturity. Then from there, you're going to the second level. You're trying to create a continuous improvement culture. Here, if you look at the process, you can use certain kind of techniques. For instance, maybe a visual workplace. There, like those markings. Sometimes if you go through a manufacturing site or a service space, you will see different kind of visuals. That helps. And problem-solving skills here. And you go further, stable and predictable process. Now here, we're talking about Lean principles, like waste animation using Lean process mapping. Sometimes people have no idea, okay, how does a process look like? Then you map them, you put them, you visualize them, you map them. It's called process mapping, so that people can understand how it looks like. Then after people know how it looks like, they can predict it. Then it's stable and predictable. Of course, it goes higher and higher. In the end, you'd like to have a sustainable process. Sustainable here and capable process, sustainable process. Here we will apply Six Sigma, because Six Sigma, which is originates from Motorola, and it means to animate the variation, to reduce the variation in a process. That's about Six Sigma. So this slide is about the process side of the maturity level of an organization. How can you go from solid foundation, to sustainable process? How can Lean Six Sigma techniques help an organization to achieve these levels of maturity from the very basic flying 5S till design for Lean Six Sigma, of design for excellence? So how can you go from there to there? Well, the continuous improvement maturity model includes two very aspects, process and people and organization. So here is about involving people. Here's about talk to people to make a strategy. And then there's the making strategy. This process is not only about top management. A strategy of an organization is never made by one person or two people. Is to involve the people, involve the whole organization from different layers, to talk to them, listen to them, make a plan, design the true north together. Proactive and decisive knowledge, expertise. We talk about like competences, upskilling of skills for your people, because continuous improvement is also about continuously improve your own knowledge. So that means it requires investment in nurturing your people, training, coaching them. Yeah, leadership, management, in those kind of aspects, elements are very important in the people organization part of this continuous improvement maturity model. Well, I think for most of you, for all of us, we're familiar with this, a little bit of history of continuous improvement. Continuous improvement, or the terms such as Kaizen, Lean, or TPM, they're not something we have invented like 2 years ago. They have been there for many, many times. Like PDCA, this circle created by Deming in 1950. and 1911, Taylor and Ford. So as you can see from there, a lot of many masters, those people who have inspired in creating the theory and also practical side of the continuous improvement. From 1911 till even today, which like today, we're keeping developing it. Like we're adding in our curriculum, we're adding new modern techniques like Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, those kind of topics, which are very modern for the situation of today. So we're adding them in our curriculum so that we can also stay updated. Well, Lean comes from Toyota, Japan, Toyota. The idea of Lean is to focus on waste animation. So there should not be, by doing that, you can achieve efficiency. So let's talk about what kind of waste we're talking about. Well, a few terms before we go to the waste. Lean thinking, I think you heard about this name, the lean thinking, like logically thinking in the way of lean. We have here lean principles like value stream mapping, flow, pull and push, perfection. So lean is about waste animation. So what kind of waste do we have? Of course, in our daily working life, we see kind of waste. Some of waste you can see them like this kind of waste, you can see them, and some kind of waste you can see them. But there are 8 types. There are 8 types of waste. Like for instance, overproduction. Overproduction is like you're making too much, then you're making more than customer has ordered. Overproduction. Waiting, like here you can be like for instance very long lead time. Like for example, if you're going to a bank, you're going to an insurance company, you want to do something there, you have an appointment. Just for some cut your hair, you're going to a hairdresser, you have a appointment at 2 o'clock, but you have to wait for like 30 minutes. So that's also like it's waiting, there's also waste, that's also waste in process. Now transport, you can think about in a workshop of a company, they're making some product. They have different working manufacturing stations, like station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Imagine that someone, an operator, has to constantly go from station 5 to station 1, station 5. For instance, have to pick up something. So we're talking about like a logical flow of those machines, of those stations. It has to be in a way very logically organized so that we can save transport cost from like one operator has to constantly go into different places, so that is also called waste. Inventory, I think it's pretty easy to understand. Movement, which also similar like transport. I think transport is more like also really transport on the road with the cars, those kind of things, or with the vehicle. Defects, like things which are not good, quality-wise not good. Unused expertise can also be like a person. He's more like a person. He's very capable, but he's only asked to do very daily routine job, which doesn't really fully use his or her skills. That's also kind of waste. So here are these 8 types of waste of lean, and the idea of using lean is to animate them so that we have very efficient process. Well, Six Sigma. Six Sigma came from Motorola. It's about focusing on reducing variation. That means you have a product with very good quality and a constantly good quality. Well, I think this is very familiar to all of you. Six Sigma focus on reducing variation. So L, like a lower specification limit, upper specification limit. The ideal situation is that should just be like this, between the range and perfectly shaped, not like this one and this one, because they're abnormal. They're not within this range, they're abnormal. That's variation. So we have to, by using Six Sigma, which is about data, you have Lean and you have Six Sigma. Six Sigma is about collecting the data. You analyze the data from your process, and you try to reduce the variation so that your process should be looking like this instead of like this. Very centered here. no outliers like this. It's very nicely shaped and formed, and it's nicely within this range. Well, the last slide of this presentation is about DMIC. Well, I think we have all heard of this. Even though you haven't done any improvement project using DMIC, we must be familiar with this one, like define, measure, analyze, improve, control. So this is a very powerful roadmap, which is widely used for Lean project, also Lean Six Sigma project. So basically, like I'm just taking two out of this. Like the first is define. You have to define a project and you define the problem. You have to define the problem. Why are you doing this improvement project? What is the problem? And what are you trying to achieve by doing this? And there we have kind of templates. We have templates to help you to form the problem, to form the project charter. By filling in the project charter, you can identify the problem and describe it very well. So you're defining it. Your measure, of course, you have to use measuring system, measuring tools and system to measure the data, and you have analyzed them. And in the end, you have to improve, and you have to make sure that improvement will sustain. That is also from the reality the most challenging one, because like when you're introducing such improvement project, you have achieved certain benefits, like hard benefits or soft benefits. You have changed a certain way of working. Then you're hoping the changes, the improvement will sustain. So that is in the control phase of DMIC. How are you going to make sure the improvements are sustainable? So that means not only now, but also over, I don't know, if in 6 months, 6 years, and maybe in 5 years, they're still the same as what you have done here. Well, that's about it from my side. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or any thoughts you want to share with me.
No, doesn't look like there are any questions. Okay.
No.
Well, if anybody has any questions, you can always email me. My contact info is in the chat. And you can always just email me later if you think of anything. Otherwise, we'll post this recording for people to view later on. But other than that, I also posted information on the Lean Six Sigma content that's available through Extreme Labs Marketplace. I also posted a link for that in the chat. So with that, I think thank you for your time and presentation, Limei. And we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Great. Again, if any questions, feel free to contact Barry or me directly. I think Barry has my contact information as well. And yes. Well, thank you very much for attending this session, and hopefully we're able to speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.